Beth Gellert, as I remember how my grandfather told it. Prince Llewellyn had a favorite greyhound named Gellert. Gellert had been given to him by his father-in-law, King John. He was as gentle as a lamb at home, but as fierce as a lion on the hunt. Now, Prince Llewellyn wanted to go for a hunt one day, so he blew his horn and called all his dogs. All the dogs came, but Gellert. Frustrated, he blew the horn and called Gellert by name. "Gellert, come!" And still, the greyhound did not come. Prince Llewellyn waited as long as he could, but eventually he had to go. So he went off to the hunt, and, of course, as you can predict, he had a terrible time because his most loyal, fiercest, and best hunter was not with him. Angrily, he stormed back to the castle, and as he approached the gates, who came bounding toward him? Gellert. Now, the closer Gellert came, the more clearly Prince Llewellyn saw blood dripping from his nose and fangs. Shocked, Prince Llewellyn backed up. Gellert paused, crouched down, curious as to why his master was treating him this way. Now, it's important to note, Prince Llewellyn had a son about a year old who he loved dearly, and he let Gellert and him play all the time. I think you can see where I'm going with this. Prince Llewellyn's mind flashed a terrible image, and he ran towards the castle. The closer he came to the child's nursery, the more blood and disorder he found. Chairs toppled over. Blood scattered everywhere, and he rushed into the child's nursery, and lo and behold, the child's cradle was overturned, covered with blood. Prince Llewellyn grew more and more terrified and looked for his son everywhere, calling out his name, screaming, "Help! Somebody! Come find my son!" His son was nowhere. All he could see was a terrible conflict in which much blood had been shed. At last, he felt for sure the dog had eaten the child, and he shouted to Gellert, "Monster, you've devoured my child!" He drew out his sword and plunged it into the greyhound's side, who fell with a deep yell, still gazing longingly into his master's eyes. Now, as Gellert raised his dying yell, a child's cry answered it from beneath the crib. There Llewellyn found his child, awakened from his sleep. But just beside him lay the body of a great gaunt wolf, all torn to shreds, covered in blood. Too late, Llewellyn had learned what had happened when he was gone. Gellert had stayed to guard the child, and had fought and slain the wolf who tried to destroy Llewellyn's heir. In vain was all Llewellyn's grief. He could not bring back his faithful dog again, so he buried him outside the castle walls, within sight of a great mountain named Snowdon. This way, every passerby might see his grave, raised over a great cairn of stones. And to this day, the place is called Beth Gellert, meaning the grave of Gellert.